Well, why don't we go ahead and convene the meeting then? I'll call the meeting to order. This is a regularly scheduled meeting, Zoom meeting of the Historic Resources Commission of the City of Albany. And this evening we have myself, John Myers, the chair, Commissioner Kaplan, Commissioner Pinckney, Commissioner McEnany, and Commissioner Tobin.
I'm here too.
Oh, there you are. Okay, and Commissioner Hacker. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
All right. So we have more than just a quorum. We've got 6. Again, we have the public hearing portion of the meeting has been postponed because the applicant has chosen to submit at the next meeting. And we have a public workshop to discuss 2 cases that are going to be come before us at the May 19th meeting. Again, if we have anyone from the public participating, there certainly would be time for any comment. Just the comments should be limited to 3 minutes in duration and stay on the topic of the discussion. So with that, I would say, why don't we proceed with the workshop portion of the meeting.
We'll go over the applicant for 108 Lark Street is not here, but we'll go through this real quickly. Again, the workshop is to provide any feedback or comments, any extra information that is needed before the HRC takes action on May 19th. So 108 Lark Street, I received a permit for this property in March 2020. They had received a stop work order for removing their wood storefront and installing a aluminum storefront in its place without permits or a certificate of appropriateness. The previous storefront was 2 divided light storefront windows with vertical board siding and an aluminum entry door. The property owner, I met with him on multiple occasions. English is a second language for him. And the contractor that he had hired originally, he's had multiple contractors working on the property. The contractor that did the work in February had told him that the removal of the storefront was part of the interior configuration and did not require exterior permits. So he removed it and replaced it. The property owner's been—
I'm sorry, Erin, would you repeat that sentence?
So the contractor told the property owner when he started work that the removal of the storefront was part of the interior configuration or part of the interior renovation and not an exterior change to the building.
Do you mean the recess portion of the storefront or the whole storefront?
The whole storefront.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they had a valid building permit to do the interior work.
No.
Oh, they didn't have that either?
No.
Okay, so they had no permit at all.
They had no permits whatsoever. So the property owner has been trying to work with the planning department. We've met with him and we've met with a representative for him as well, helping him with translation. So they are requesting to retain the storefront as it currently is. It is 8 feet 8 inches in height and 19 feet 8 inches wide. The drawing here shows the configuration of the aluminum panels, aluminum bulkheads, and the new front door, as well as the glazing systems. So I don't know if any of you have any comments, or if there's any other information that you would like to see from them that I can reach out to the property owner's representative.
This drawing shows much of what is already installed.
Correct. This
But- Go on.
this reflects what's currently there.
But the upstairs door on the right, is that, that was the historic doors were still there, right, on that last photo?
Yes, they are still there.
I don't think it looked bad, considering all the other storefronts that we've seen. I mean, I particularly don't like the material of aluminum, but the configuration, door, display windows, and panels are right on point.
Could that aluminum be painted?
Huh?
Could it be
I can-
painted in the future?
Yeah, I can find out. And that was one of the things I had asked the property owner, but his contractor never got him the information. So I can follow up with that.
Or at
What
least
was that? Hacker, what did you say? I didn't hear you. I'm
I was
sorry.
wondering if the aluminum could be painted. You know, maybe not all of
yeah.
it, maybe not the
Yeah,
door
yeah.
itself, but
Yeah. I was thinking about that myself.
I have a procedural question, which is, we just spent quite a bit of time talking about the loss of a recessed entry on South Pearl, right?
Correct.
Yep.
And had the conversation because we thought that the recessed entry was a significant, it was original or historic and significant. So here there's a loss of that. So what is the, how to say this? What's
So,
the condition that we are starting from?
I
Because
will say this, in these photos, there is a door here. It's currently open in this photo. So it's a door
Oh.
and then another door, but there is a
That-
door.
That really
Present.
functioned as a little vestibule.
Yes.
can you get in, zoom in for that?
Let me see if I can. Maybe.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah. So it's right here. You can kind of see the bottom panel right here,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and the push bar is here.
So how deep does that recess? How deep is that recess? 3 feet, 4 feet?
I'm not sure. It's gone.
It's got to be
Ooh.
4 feet, the lead, right? Because the width of the door plus a little bit.
Yeah, plus some room for it to swing. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
But it has been fully removed.
Well, hence my question, which is what is the starting point that we're evaluating this proposal on? If it was what we see here on the left, then it's possible the conversation would go as we talked about on South Pearl.
can I jump in here for a second? Did we actually decide on South Pearl? Has that been approved?
No,
No,
Oh, we didn't?
no.
we asked for more information.
Ah, good for you, Chris. Okay,
I was just here. If I was. Sorry.
huh. What were they gonna, I'm sorry then, my memory. What are they gonna bring us back? Because we had quite a presentation about some of the security issues and et cetera, et cetera.
So at the meeting, you had requested actual elevation drawings showing the details of the storefront,
Right, it was a terrible drawing.
millwork and trim,
Right, okay.
kind of something more in scale to show the
Right.
how the proposed would actually look on the structure. So he has been working with an architect to produce those, which is why the information's not ready yet.
There's so much existing historic fabric down there on Pearl Street that it's conflicting. It really is. with the decision? I know I'm backtracking, but it's the last meeting, but I don't know.
Well, that's why I ask it here. I think it's this, right? In that conversation, we said these recessed entries are significant to these buildings. So back, to these photos, which is our starting point.
Does it make sense? I know I made a comment for that South Pearl Street project, which I wasn't present at, regarding keeping ceiling fabric and floor fabric, the recessed footprint and ceiling print, if I can call it that, as a reminder, in case somebody were to come at some later date and wanted to replicate the recess, at least there'll be some type of evidence to guide them in restoring that building. The same thing here, it's a change, but I think if they were to, and I don't know whether this guy here has just demolished everything regarding the recess entry, but if, like in the one on South Pearl Street, the recess entry, the ceiling and the floor is still there.
Right.
To be of indication as to an outline of the original, of the historic storefront, because a lot of these buildings didn't have storefronts. The storefronts came in the early 20th century.
So for this case, to kind of touch on your point, Lee and Marilyn, we would be evaluating the current condition because the interior has been fully gutted. All that has been removed. And
so the current condition is what we see on the right, the aluminum storefront.
Correct. And that is what they are requesting to retain. So that is what we are applying the criteria to.
Oh, that's interesting, huh? What happens above the storefront, the little awning and the signage?
They will be applying. So this came in as a stop work order for the storefront, and they applied for the storefront and they applied for their interior permits, and then they applied for a sign permit. So they will be applying for a new sign at some point, but we had told them until they address the storefront violation, we wouldn't be issuing any other approvals for the property until this was taken care of.
Does that mean all construction is halted?
Correct.
Is this business functioning now?
They are currently not. This is part of, they don't have any current certificates of occupancy. So they're currently not allowed to be running the business until this all gets addressed. So the property owner who runs the business out of this is looking to, get this taken care of. So.
Do you know what is it a full market?
No, I believe it's like a corner convenience bodega.
Not much vegetables or canned stuff, or not much food.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Which corner is it on?
This is Lark and Orange. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. I guess if we're starting with what we're looking at right now is the new condition, certainly the aluminum panels are a little jarring and not in keeping with the fabric of the building. But I would also say that the panel to the right is so wide and intrudes on what could be a nicely developed frame for the recessed entry for the second floor, that we might consider altering that the width of that panel so that appropriate trim could be put around that, what remains of an original opening and an original door to the second floor.
John, I'm not sure. I'm sorry, go ahead.
How do I get rid of all the people that are blocking?
Me too.
How do I fire everybody so I can take a look at the right-hand side of the building?
If you hover over the panel of everybody, Jack,
Yeah.
there should come up like a bar,
Yeah,
a
I
narrow
see it.
bar, a thicker
Yeah.
than two stacked. If you click on the thumbnail, which is the narrow one, it should pull everybody up.
Actually, if you click on the
Okay,
little
thank you.
horizontal,
You're
Yeah.
all gone. Thank you.
you click on that little thin horizontal line, that hides it.
Yep, it's, I can see it now.
Okay.
So John, I have a feeling that on the right photograph, the right edge of that panel that you were just talking about, if you follow that line up to the window trim, that's right. If you go right up, it's kind of just between, just center the thickness of that trim. And if you go, Aaron, now over to that photograph, that kind of goes up to the same area, right? So I don't know that can be narrowed. It can maybe be trimmed out and something done there, but I have a feeling the width matches what a wood panel.
Well, it matches whatever that wood paneling is that
Yeah.
we're seeing. But
Yep.
what I'm saying is if we can return to something that preserves the appearance of the, or at least defines that entry to the apartments, and it appears to be a pair of doors in that recess, and at least celebrate that opening a bit more. And because this all appears to be, it's not like that panel is covering a window or anything. It's an old window opening. It's just covering a blank piece of wall.
Mhm.
If you trimmed that and you got, it's so wide, that's one of its problems. If you put trim, a 3.5, 4-inch piece of trim on the right side and somehow use that, maybe it's what you were saying, John, to frame that recess with looks like original doors behind there. But if this is the starting position and we've got this, and like Lee says, in some ways the proportions are not bad. Maybe we can make lemonade and talk with them about the material on that awning and then the signage, and help improve the overall presentation.
Shouldn't there be a piece of aluminum on the on our right side of the building entry doors, the upstairs? It looks like between shouldn't there be, it's blank, and I don't know whether that's the depth of the wall or whether it's something that is part of the facade. It needs to be covered just like with aluminum or something.
Kind of makes me think they got the stop work order before they finished their work.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it looks like.
Yeah.
That's probably the case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause it does appear that there was either, I don't know if this was a solid piece of wood or if it was a painted glass transom, but there at one point was like a trim panel. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, right. To be honestly truthful with you, I think the new design looks a whole lot better than the existing design. Other than the left, the new left display area is wider or longer than what we see in the earlier photograph. And the reason why it's long is because they got rid of the recess. See what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they widened that window on the left
Yeah,
from the multi-light window that used to be there to
yeah.
the single glaze.
Yeah, they should paint it a different color, like
Okay.
like Hacker said, and I have no problem with it. I think it looks better than the old one.
Also, I suspect that the old one is something that wasn't the original or even any original front of it.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know, it's not like you're restoring something that was once there, because I don't see what we're looking at is what used to be there.
There was a grocer in this building back in the early 1900s, but I do have a feeling that the storefront that probably was there previously had been altered.
I actually think that that piece of the storefront that's left in that to the left of the original door, I think that's an early piece or remnant or something. It just feels like it might be.
Yeah, with the multi-panes of glass.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the
That could be very
proportions
old.
of it, right? But it's gone, so.
Yeah.
It is, unfortunately.
1995 city directory.
Yeah.
It's on the right-hand side.
So sounds like we're talking about wanting to see the final treatment around the on the right side, the entrance to that door, painting the aluminum.
Definitely.
I'm gonna ask for an improvement. I'd throw out there rather an improvement to the awning, and we're gonna see the sign. And
And any lighting that they are proposing.
right.
Also, the cornice, if you will, or the left-hand side. You see how it goes down and then it extends. Originally, it was uniform above the basement. And that little piece of aluminum jutting down has no purpose. That should be straightened off. And possibly on the other side as well. They should both be the same top of the basement foundation that's there. Should be a straight line.
Yep.
The only problem of a straight line is that it makes sense on the left side, even though I don't quite know what that is, masonry and whatever. But on the right side, it might make less sense when they go to trim out that opening. But I hear what you're saying.
I may be more interested in the one to the left of the
Agreed.
wide piece,
Yeah.
to the left of the upstairs entry door.
Yep.
But I think what Commissioner Hacker has said is that what we're looking at is kind of a work in progress that stopped suddenly. So maybe they also need to provide what was their intent on finishing this.
I think it might be this as proposed.
Although I doubt seriously if they had any drawings more sophisticated than the one we just saw.
What's the number of this place?
108
108.
Clark Street.
Oh, okay. All right.
So will they come on the 19th or?
They should.
Okay, good.
I had thought that they would have been here this evening, but they may
Nice
not
to
be
help
because Ramadan is taking place right now. They may not be able to
Nice
attend.
to help them get back in business.
Yeah.
Have some lemonade.
So
is that enough, Erin, for you to work with?
yep, I think I will reach out to them. Yeah, I think that's definitely enough. So
A decent sketch of what the final product is that they're hoping to do. You know, I mean, you could.
yeah.
That's not asking for too much at all.
Yeah. I mean, the documents that are here were put together by a relative of the property owner. So, I mean, and I will work with them to get what they need. But they most likely will not be producing like design style documents. So,
Well, just an artist sketch of it. It doesn't have to be, you know, if, as long as the percentage, the proportion is correct. You know, and I'd like to know who was the person who said, don't worry, you can take the whole thing out. You already have a permit to do it. That's, you know, somebody misled this person.
Consider the interior.
Yeah.
This person was also operating without a valid building permit, so they were going to say just about anything.
yeah. So, all right, I will
Certainly
provide them.
before the next meeting, I'll swing by there and take a look at this and see if we can figure out some suggestions for its
Okay.
development.
You know, those blocks between between Clinton and Washington are architecturally very valuable. The row houses are unique and they're very, very much endangered. This should be an extension of Center Square, Hudson Park, and it should be easy to make it looking appropriate. And, you know, I really think it has something that goes wrong in this area, has a damage on whole rows, both across the street and further up. You know, there's potential there. And if we let it go to really look as crummy as it can be, then that has an effect on a lot of property and an entire neighborhood between Washington Avenue and Clinton. There's a number of them that architecturally are great, even some that are not occupied, and well worth preserving.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree. Well, they have an opportunity to do something nicer here, so let's work with them.
Yep. Anybody have any other questions or comments before we move on to the next item?
Nope.
No.
In my 1895 city directory, which is one of the first ones that has a listing, in 1895, the building had a caterer in it and it had a printer in it. The printer lived there, apparently upstairs. The caterer, I suppose, could have been on the corner, but it's not easily identified as a commercial building at the time. So, you know, I don't think we have anything there to restore it to unless somebody's coming up with a photograph.
Was a blue form pulled for this?
Yes.
Does it show anything other than what is visible in the photograph on the left that we're looking at?
No, it pretty much is the same.
Okay.
And it's from, I think, 1976. But it matches the images from 2019. So.
Just for fun, do you remember who prepared it? 1976.
Tony Opalka.
Only.
Tony.
And you know who paid his salary at the time?
Yeah. 1976. Yeah.
CETA,
Was he a
CETA
CETA?
program.
Is he a CETA, Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So. We'll go on to 52 North Pearl. And Chris Pratt and George Maloney are both in the meeting tonight.
Hello.
We
Hello.
Hello. So after the November 2020 meeting, myself, John Myers, Lee Pinkney, and Chris Hacker met with Chris Pratt on site to look at the current condition and the interior configuration, to kind of provide Chris with some feedback as they move forward with the proposal. Chris has come back with a revised rendering showing glazing within the areas that are currently cementitious lap siding, retaining the center commercial space entry as is, installing a cedar shiplap treatment to the sign band area, and then installing gooseneck lighting above floor plans. They do have a stair entry kind of right off of the main entry down into the basement, and the space that's level out to the back. And then this space is the entry into the apartments. So they did come forward in 2018. The tripart storefront was what they were approved for in 2018. This is the current configuration of the storefront area, and then their proposed current proposal. And then just run through. Chris did provide the glazing options today for the paneling. And then this would be kind of the shiplap treatment. And Chris provided an example as currently installed. And then the proposed lighting treatments. So Chris and George, I don't know if you have any additional information you want to go over, or if you want to wait and just ask any questions as the commission discusses.
No, first of all, good evening, everyone. Thank you. Just one thing to clear up, just so the shiplap is not cedar, but it's a pine. But I'm just, just letting you know, because there is a difference. So yeah, I just, it's be very similar to what you see there, where that I found that on the web, Caroline Moon, whatever that is. It'd be very similar. It wouldn't be, it would be the shiplap reversed, and then we would stain it. And actually the lights are very similar. So, and it would be the same. If you can go back to, do you have the Steuben Street Market? Yeah. So what we would do is we would continue that at the same width across. So what we plan on doing is taking that center window out, the glass, lowering the frame down, and then, reinstalling another piece of glass so that we don't lose that door. We don't have to change that.
So basically the bottom of the new storefront would align with the storefront signage, Steuben. It would line up with that.
Yeah, correctly. And also the bottom, if you look at the bottom, you really can't see in that picture. Well, yeah, you can. If you look at the very bottom of the where the standpipe is, below that, that's a 12-inch rise right there. There would also be a 12-inch rise. That matches up with, yes, there'd be one there too. That matches up with the market also. So basically the window frames would be the same dimensions. You'd have 3 and 3, and they would line up straight across.
And Chris, can you clarify for the glazing that you sent me? Is that a tinted glaze?
Yeah, now that
panel?
was because it would be very difficult for us to get and that space. I'm using my finger, you can't see me. in between the I-beam and the where the frame is, we're not gonna be able to get a frame and glass in there, so we would use the glazing in there.
Where? I don't, where at?
Well, if you look on the drawing, do you have the drawing that's submitted? Can you go back to that? Yeah. You see where it's up right there? You see that black in there? That's the glazing. I wanted to give you an example. The glass would be the same that's at the market. We wouldn't use the glazing on that. So, and the other thing, just I noticed, I asked him to move it. He didn't. That standpipe is not going to be there. We can bring it out on the side. So that won't even be there.
So all the other glass would be clear?
Yes.
You're also proposing the returns on the entry to be of that
Yes. Yes.
same type of material above?
Yeah, because you're not going to see it. It's just going to, yeah. So all the siding will be gone.
I think you've done a better job, Chris.
Thank you.
Where the majority of that area is glazed, as it was historically. And it's kind of a nice idea. You are lining the horizontal muttons or mullions with the one that's too bad street market.
Yep. Yeah, and I think the contrast of the stained wood as opposed to the white will definitely make it more distinctive. It won't just all flow into one color or one, you know.
Can we see a photograph again, Aaron? That shows as much of the building is as possible. I'm not that comfortable with the wood panel. There's a lot of wood. It's kind of, it's got a little bit of a rough texture, both the material and its installation. And in my mind, it's less compatible with the type of finishes that this building has or would have had. It feels a little rough to me. If you can go, maybe now go back to the photo of the material.
Well, I sent the first one without the logo, the Caroline. I would not use that. That's not what that is rough. The other one is more smooth, just like the market. I mean, I think it gives me that break with the brick. It's very difficult with the brick, and I think it would blend in very well with the brick, and you know, give it a little bit of again, I keep saying it's a distinction between the two. Plus, to be honest, I have a ton.
I think it's important to make a distinction between the two because they are two distinctly different buildings. And I think it's the proportion of the wood area to the sign imagery over it that, you know, will have some visual impact. Certainly,
Hey, John?
I agree with Marilyn that the rough boards as shown in the image here it looks a little more like a Colorado.
Well, all right. Can we, Aaron, I mean, if you could even delete, that was the first one I sent. The second one, which I sent today, because I couldn't find something of what I was looking for. I found this morning and I sent it, but we could get rid of that because I agree. That's not the look we're looking for. It would be a smoother finish. It would be very similar to the one is the home furnishing ones. And I'm not saying the sign would even, that was just because I was trying to get an example of exactly, you know, what we would be looking for.
Right.
Yeah,
Hey,
I agree. We're not trying to make it look rustic at all, you know.
I have
John?
one comment on this, and then I'll ask if we can go back for a moment. But
Am I muted?
the size, the scale of the wood panel on the left here, the Carolina Moon, that's pretty large for a storefront. And the proportion of the signage on the right where it says coffee feels more appropriate to this building or in this photo. So now can we go back to the photo of the
Front
proposed
elevation of the
drawing?
building.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, again, I'm not gonna put a sign up until we have till everything's completed, then we would apply for a sign permit. But just like I did with Steuben Street Market, any sign that would go on there would be proportionate to the size of the wood. I mean, I agree that, but we're not looking at it as the same as that. I just wanted to give you an example of the wood, that what it's gonna look like. It's not gonna be, it's not gonna be wood over wood. It's gonna be shiplap style, and we're going to smooth it, and then we would stain it.
So can we see, so
It would be in line, correct, with
Yes.
this.
Yes.
Just pull this all the way over.
Yeah, if you follow that line right across, yep, there you go, Aaron. I mean, I think I remember how many boards it was. 16 boards. It will come right across. It will be the same width and same length, pretty much, as the Steuben Street Market. So it will probably be 2 boards above that light. If you move to that light above the apartment entrance door, or either one. Yeah, 2 boards above that.
That large header, that's all going to be maintained and exposed? The black header or the bottom part of the brick, if you want to call it that?
Yes.
Hey, Aaron, did you get that picture I just sent you?
I'm not in my email, so I'm not sure.
The only signage is wine bar and nothing more, just wine bar?
I wish you never put that there.
Just out of curiosity, I just wondered.
No, listen, we don't, to be honest with you, we might lease the space out. We're just trying to get it ready. I wish you never put it there. We don't know what we're doing with it.
I was curious if there was more to come.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We just.
Can you post that, Aaron?
Well, it's not hurtful.
Give me 1 second.
Right.
Jack, the last time we were talking about whether that was one building or not. I had the picture of it. I just sent it to Aaron.
Oh, very nice.
And it's got, it used to have dormers on top of the Emery building that matched those dormers on the top of the building to the left.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And what you're gonna see from that photo is a similar tin front. It's like that's the width of the Steuben Street front. So a tin front on the front of it.
Why, there's 3 panels in there on the right of this building, and one of them is a different size from all the other. Why isn't it the same bottom parallel line from the top, for example?
Where are we talking? I don't know where you're talking about.
I don't know if I'm allowed.
The
to point
3
at it.
windows where the standpipe are, Chris, he makes a good point. They don't match up with the sets of windows over
I
by the
think it was
Steuben.
just, he made a mistake.
Drafting
when he
error.
drew it. I mean, they're gonna be the same exact.
Okay.
distance. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just noticed that myself. It looks
Good
like
catch, Jack.
it looks like he brought the line a little bit too far up, because it doesn't line up. It should line up with the big window above the entrance to the door.
Yeah.
I can have him, I'm making notes. I'll have him correct that.
Okay.
what's the material on the Steuben Street Market sign panel?
The material up top?
On the sign panel at the Steuben Street Market?
Yeah, it's the shiplap.
It's paint it white.
Yeah, we painted it. Yeah. We sanded it down and painted it.
Can we go back to that photo?
Yep, give me 1 second.
So is what you're proposing for the wine bar portion the same material but unpainted, just
Correct.
stained or something?
We will
Yes.
stain and poly it to weatherize it.
Okay.
I think it will look rich more than it will look rustic, but I do agree. I'm sorry that picture was the first one I could find, and then I found that one today scouring the internet. And the picture you're looking at, if you look at the bottom, that is the bottom of the sill that we did right there. Thank you, Aaron. That's 12 inches. and then the black one is 12 inches, and we'll continue that across.
Yep.
And then we'll pop the standpipe out on the side. As you walk into the door, there's enough space that we can get it out on the side. That would be, Aaron, on the left side on the market.
And it's a different light fixture that you showed us, yeah?
Yep, that would be different. I don't really think we should use the same light fixture. Any other questions or?
No, just, it makes more sense. What you have, Chris, makes more sense than what you
No, I agree.
have there now. You know, the clapboard. The clapboard is just inappropriate altogether, you
I
know.
understand.
The lack of.
I think it looks great. I do agree that the signboard is kind of tall. You know, it could be made to, it could be probably the height of the existing big opening, the top of the big opening. That might be a better.
No, I disagree, Lee. I think looking at the Carolina thing, I know it looks big there, but I think it will be consistent if we run it right across and keep the same width right across on both the buildings.
Yeah, I know.
We looked at it and we drew it up, and it did not look right.
I mean,
It is.
Lee, it would be clearly easier for us to do that smaller piece, but I agree with Chris. I think you got to bring that door down to the same height as the other door next to it, the glass above it, and then make it the same width. I just don't think it looked right, two different widths up there.
Yeah.
Can we go back to the elevation drawing? I guess I'm confused as to whether the buildings are trying to work as one or stand as two separate buildings. And
My opinion is they should stand at two, even though they're one property, it's two separate buildings. I mean, I don't see any benefit in us continuing that across and painting it white, just like, I mean, it just doesn't, I mean, I don't want to do that. I don't think that looks good at all. I think if we can figure out a way, like I think we've done here, and make it separate. I mean, it's brick, and the other one is terracotta.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, it seems like, given we're not really, I mean, you're keeping what's historic on the, you know, on that side, you're keeping the cast iron. It makes a lot of sense to carry the sign across. I think, you know, to me, it seems like we're kind of talking about design issues more than the preservation issues, because it looks like you're going to do the right thing and take off the clapboard and put the glazing back, and it makes a lot of sense to me. It'll be good to have something there. These buildings have needed love for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I really think I'm very happy. I couldn't come up with anything before. From a visionary standpoint, which I tend to try to be sometimes, I'm very happy with the way the wood's going to look and the lights. I think it is going to look two separate buildings, which is really makes them both unique. And I really like that. I didn't want to do the same thing. I didn't want to do the same lights, but yeah, the bottom the glass and the glazing will match up, you know, as you look across. So, you know, and when we do get approval, and if approved to do this, the first thing we would do, and Aaron, if you can go back to the actual what's there now, I appreciate it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the glass. We're going to take the clapboard up the top, and we're going to do the wood top first. We'll get that done first, and then we'll have, you know, that way our glass guy can get exact measurements, and then we can install the glazing. So my point is that we're going to know when we do it, you know, and I think at that point it will, you know, we'll be able to get a better feel. But I'm pretty confident. If you look at the Steuben Street Market, it's really not that wide. I know from that picture I showed you, because that is a big front. but it's really not as wide as you think it is. It's only from the top, it's only, like I said, 2 boards more down. And that 2 boards does make a difference. It really does. When we drew it up and we tried it the other way, and like George said, it would have been easier for us to do it that way, but it just did not look good. And then the glass didn't match up. It didn't line up with the Steuben Street Market.
Yeah, I think this will have cohesion and yet also distinctive, be 2 distinctive storefronts, but have cohesion together. So it makes a lot of sense to me.
Right, right. We just got to figure out where to put the intercom system.
Oh, I forgot about that, yeah.
Yeah,
The access control panel, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
No, I think you've done a credible job, pulling this together. So, and, I think as long as that wood panel, sign panel is smooth and it respects the frame that the cast iron provides and is a compatible color with the brick, I think it can look quite nice.
Well, one thing I could do before the next meeting and bring to the next meeting is I can take some of the boards and I can come up with what we feel is, the stain, and I can submit it that you can actually see it. Because believe me, I don't want to put anything up there. I'm not looking for rustic, so I plan on doing that anyways. So, just to get an idea of how the board's going to come out and what stain is going to go best with the brick.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't we have one, Chris, that had like a clear, I sent you one a long time ago, the whole building that had it was just a clear stain, a clear poly on the wood, and it was finished it was very shiny. I think, it was a really nice looking storefront.
Yeah, but I think clear is going to contrast so much with the brick that it's just
the wood grabbed it a little bit of a kind of reddish brown hue.
Right.
You don't want that.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I echo John's comment. It's you did a great job.
I appreciate everybody's patience.
Yeah, thank you for helping us out.
Yeah.
One more comment on the planking above the shiplap.
Yes.
Recommend that you choose like some clear pine versus just knotty old pine, even if you're going to stain it, as far as a smoother finish.
No, that's exactly what I have. It's not knotty at all.
Super.
So, yeah, no, I appreciate that. Henkel Lumber, I've been dealing with them for years. It's good product. There's no knots in the one Steuben. That's why we've had no bleed through or anything. So
Really just trying to check all the boxes for you, Chris.
no, I appreciate it, Chris. Yeah, yeah.
No sap bleed through.
Yes, no, yeah. I mean, that clapboard is all shiplap. It's just turned the other way. So.
Well, are there any other comments to offer?
Chris, for any updated documents or any additional information, if you could have that to me by next Thursday, the 13th.
Yeah.
That would be helpful so that I can update the information and get it out to the HRC.
All
in
right.
time.
So at this point, I'm going to get rid of the standpipe, and I'm going to have them lowered to make those windows more proportionate. And I'm going to have them take the wine bar out or make it proportionate. That's what I'll have them do.
Call it the HRC wine bar.
That's right.
So it goes
Don't want
along.
to damage your reputation here.
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron, I really am dying to show Jack that picture. Yeah.
Let me pull it up. Sorry. Stop the share. Share.
Oh, wow. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that beautiful?
So somewhere they must have taken those dormers off the top of the one building, and then
I'm
they
surprised.
They reskinned it with
they
the,
skinned the whole thing with terracotta.
yeah. No, it was a
Isn't
complete redo.
That's wonderful. Where'd you get that picture?
I just did some research online.
He
found
took it.
You can see how they had the tin there, the big wide piece of tin, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's,
That's
and those,
mad.
I have another picture where those little round things are on the building next door. That was a music place where you could go, not learn how to dance or play music, but it wasn't a restaurant. It wasn't a bar. It's called something else.
Yeah. I wonder how old that picture is.
I have another one too that shows the storefront to the left, right up close.
Yeah.
That
It looks-
storefront's fabulous. Wow.
Yeah, it is. Also, when you try and make things match too much, the people who are the tenants don't like that. They like to have
Right.
a separate identity. And there's
Yeah.
no question when I see this one, if there was ever a separate identity, it's these two adjoining storefronts.
Right.
That's
Oh.
wonderful. And yet up above, there's a Unity, and also that was Ansley's, where you see the skylight on the upper left-hand corner.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
they did all, I think everybody's framing that they could possibly do, and just art in general. It's
Did
wonderful.
you get that one, Aaron? This is the building to the left up close. It was very eerie looking when you see the storefront. I don't know if you have to turn it around.
I don't have anything.
Oh, I just sent it to you. It might take a minute.
Yeah.
It's the left building right up front.
We were very fortunate to have this building being preserved. No question about it.
You didn't get that, huh?
No.
You may send it to the wrong person. Here, I'm sending it to you one more time.
Well, I will say that it looks like that wrought iron gate in between is still there. Right between the two buildings, Aaron, right? The wrought iron.
Right here.
Yeah, it's still there. That's the same one.
Wow.
Yeah, still there, and it still swings.
Do that. No, maybe not.
I suppose. if
There's
we
what
look-
there's what the building looked like next door.
Hmm.
See that?
Mm-hmm.
It had these two round domes with rounded glass.
Was that original?
That's this building on the left. You can see it on the picture.
Yeah, but was it original to the construction of the building?
This predates the shoe store. So this to me has to be the original picture here. This is
You
the
don't
oldest
see
one
any
I found.
cars in the foreground to date it. You have to look at the fashions in the window there. And see if you can
Yes.
date it from that.
Yep.
Well, when it was taken over as a shoe store in the 1918 to 25, and they just reskinned it, there was a you remember the claps that used to be up on Madison Avenue? There was a claps right
Sure.
next to it on the left.
Next to Stedix.
Right. There was a claps here too.
Yep.
Oh. And then there was a beauty salon on the second floor of the left-hand building. And then there was I believe a CPA firm in the top two sets of windows.
Oh, wow.
Oh, bingo.
Yeah.
Baker Music.
We're not doing that.
I don't know. It's great inspiration.
How do we see this?
Incredible.
All right, if there's not anything else, I appreciate everybody's time.
We're got a trip going down memory lane here, Chris.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's been a long day, but I got my second Moderna shot, so I gotta make sure I'm hydrated and I don't have any side effects. So.
So I will write this up and send you the written comments. And then, like I said, if we could have the updated info to me next week.
Yeah, actually, my guy he's out front waiting for me. He's coming down to do some other inside drawings, and I'm gonna give it to him and have him update it. So
Perfect.
as far as everything else, I mean, you have all the other stuff. If you want to get rid of that rough picture, yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, other than that, I mean, so if there's anything else, I'd be glad to provide it. But I'm very happy with it. I think it's gonna look great when we're done with it. And I do think it's gonna delineate the two buildings, for, whatever it ends up being, whether it's a wine bar, restaurant, whatever, so.
And then we will have the formal hearing on May 19th. So,
Okay, great,
Okay,
great.
Okay, well,
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. very
Aaron, did you get that last photo?
yeah,
much.
yeah.
Oh, there's one more.
Jeez, George.
I know, but Jack likes this stuff. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, get his email.
I was gonna ask Aaron for it, send it to him directly.
McEnany at
There you go.
gmail.com.
Well, this way
I'll send it. I'll
This
send
way
it to
she's
you.
got them all. Now you can see what it looked like from 1925. So,
Right.
Great.
Let me pull it up.
you got it?
Yep.
There it is.
Hold on. Where is it? Sorry.
Yeah.
Nice, very
You can
nice.
zoom in on that. You can see the
Yeah.
actual names.
Wow.
So see where it says Claps Gifts on the left.
Yeah.
And then, I had a better clean picture, but it was BALL and Company upstairs. I think it was a CPA firm on the second floor. And then on the left was a beauty salon. That little sign right there on the left is for a beauty salon.
That's
And it was
great.
at one time, it was also a restaurant on the left called Peter's.
Oh,
And I actually have the menu from Peter's and I have its grand opening.
Yep. And they were famous because they had Maxfield Parish style murals put on the walls.
Really? You knew
They
about
were
Peter's?
murals, huge murals, and they all looked like Maxfield Parish's posters that he at one time was, I think, in every dorm room in every college in America, all around 1919 to the 1920s.
I have to
All right,
sign
that's
up.
my trip down memory lane.
Yep.
I can see some of those images. Maxfield Parish.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it very much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you on the 19th. Thank you.
Are you really talking to us from San Francisco?
No, I wish I was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, in about 2 years, I'll be talking to you from Florida because I'm not sticking around here.
Very good.
So,
Have a good one,
Okay.
everybody.
Thank you.
thank
Yeah.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Aaron, on our agenda, we had a notation for archaeology update.
Oh, yes, I have that on the workshop agenda so that if, Jen has any projects
Yeah.
that she wants to make you all aware of,
Okay,
she has that time. Or if we have anything coming forward for archaeology, she's not here tonight, but the one thing, I was gonna update her on, I can update all of you, the parking lot at 255 through 271 Clinton Avenue, where there's vacant lots, and Home Leasing currently has their construction staging all set up there. They're going to be doing a parking lot there. It's been determined that there's no ground disturbance, so they don't have to do a phase 1A or a phase 1B for their archaeology. So, and I think we haven't noted that as they move forward and develop their fencing treatment and landscaping, I'll be sending that to you to notify you all about it. So,
Are they going to build any structure there?
no, it's going to be parking for tenants. So it's a parking lot the 255, I think it's 255 will be used as parking.
Yeah.
And the parking will go up and use the common alley that runs behind the buildings so that, and provide, I think, like 1 to 2 parking spots for the buildings off the alleys. So, but it's, they have ADA parking and then also parking for tenants there, and then outdoor like picnic and leisure space for,
Well, now, there's about 4 blocks that are empty now. That whole thing would be turned into a parking lot? 4 buildings that are no longer there?
right.
So it's a very large parking lot for people on the block, I take it.
Yes.
Okay, yep.
Are they coming forward with something to present to you on softening the parking lot a bit on the, the street edge?
So they will have screening. There will be I believe what I looked at on the plans today, and I can send them to you. I believe it's metal fencing and then like a metal picket fence, not chain link, and then landscaping with that as well. So, and then they also have an area within the development space for I think picnic tables and other items. So
How might they light the parking lot?
that is a good question. Let me see if let me pull up the plans because they did have them up, so I can pull them right up.
I didn't mean to create such silence.
Actually, hold on.
We just saw those pictures of down on Pearl Street, and I was just looking at those lampposts and the pictures, and got a lamppost in my brain. They're gorgeous.
Quite an elegant street.
That it is.
The Champs-Élysées Pearl. Oh, wow. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay,
Okay. So there is a landscaping buffer behind the fence along the street, and then there is that grill and picnic area.
Mhm. And as you see, it does go up and it goes behind
yeah,
all the buildings.
Mhm.
that alley has a name. I don't know whether it's Callanan or one of those. The alley in between First and city owned.
Common, yeah. And then this is black metal fencing that'll be used as a perimeter fence.
You sure it's black? Does it tell you otherwise it's painted?
It doesn't say it here, but I'm pretty sure Dan told me that it would be black fencing. I can confirm. That's not. I will ask for lighting details. I'll follow up. My colleague Zach may have that information. Also, I don't see light post
Well,
even noted on the plans anyplace. I'll follow up, Chris. I'll find out.
it was really group question, really.
You know,
Thank you for sharing that information.
City doesn't have any policy on like night for light pollution on lighting fixtures, does it? That you know, are they doing dark sky fixtures or requiring them?
We do. So all the new light fixtures that went in, I believe, are dark sky compliant.
They are. Huh.
So the acorn top ones, that was one of the things as we went through and we updated all of them and we purchased all the street lights from
Oh.
National Grid.
Yep.
When they did like if you're on Lark Street or you're in the park and you see the acorn top ones,
Mhm.
I believe that they all had to be dark sky compliant. So they
On
have like
projects like this as well. It's not just on,
right.
Yeah.
So like they all have like a cap in them that
right.
directs everything
down.
down.
Mhm.
So that's what dark sky compliance means.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The light is
Yep.
directed down.
Yeah, so it's not just directed up into the like free.
The birds like it better.
Take shelter.
Aaron, do we have any other items to come before us this evening?
The only other thing that I have, and it's just kind of put it out there if you know anybody. We had a meeting about a month ago with the Housing Coalition, the veteran housing group, who they were gifted 320 Clinton Avenue, which is one of the large buildings on the corner of Clinton Avenue and Henry Johnson. It's on the south side, and it's there's a large vacant parcel at the corner where the
Yep.
the crosswalk is and everything, and then it's the first building. It's part of Breathing Lights a few years ago. They reached out to us because they originally were going to do a rehab of the structure for housing for their group. The building is in such disrepair that they are considering demolition, but they did reach out to us. If there are any interested parties or you know anybody that is looking for a property to rehab, they may be interested in selling the property off to someone else who would be able to redevelop the property. So
There's like 3 twin row houses there, aren't they? They all match.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I was in one of them when I was in CBA. Art Leonardo lived in them, and the mahogany woodwork in it was just fabulous. So all 3 of them at one time were very elegant.
You remember that mahogany from 50 years ago
From,
It wasn't that good.
Yeah.
or more? 50 plus? Wow.
oh,
Wow.
yeah,
Come on, Marilyn, it's not that hard.
60s.
Huh. I'm trying to remember some mahogany from 50 years ago.
I got something to tell you on the last one, but that we had an attorney who used to say it's a conflict of interest. You know too much about it. Know where all the old relatives lived and everybody you went to.
So it's this property right here.
Yeah.
So why aren't the folks, I assume they've talked to the folks, home, whatever name is, community builder.
Home leasing.
Home
They
leasing.
did, and they were not interested in the property because of the condition.
Because of the
That's not the
condition.
one I was in. I was 1, 2, or 3 down.
Is it true the backside is in real jeopardy?
Yes.
The back of the building somehow is in
The
jeopardy.
back of the building and the back wall,
Yeah.
based on the information that they have, they've had a really hard time getting anybody to actually go in and do like actually go into the building to do a full assessment, but it is deflecting
Mm.
and starting to really bow out. And
Who owns the vacant land next to it? Is that somebody?
so the city owns a portion of it, the state owns a portion of it.
Yeah,
I think this portion up here is owned by the state, like through here. And then I think the city owns this parcel over here.
but it's not a dedicated park, I don't think.
No.
Okay.
So I have a question to pose to you all. We used to not like facades, right? We didn't like to just save the front of the building and not save the building.
Some people didn't like it.
Well,
The purists absolutely hated it. They'd
Mhm.
rather see the building torn down.
but you look at buildings like that as compared to all of the new construction that we get, which doesn't come close.
Yep.
So if the condition of the buildings is so severe, and Aaron, I'll assume that's the case and whatever you've just said, what about an effort to try to retain the facades? Either to stabilize for incorporation into future construction. I mean, you might want to look, somebody could even look at the tax credit. I can't remember, do you need to retain 20% of the exterior walls, or, what about some effort to try to save the facades?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that, we saw this with Fort Madison Place.
75% of the exterior walls. I'm sorry, it used to
Yeah.
be.
Right.
Yeah.
75.
I know that we saw it with like Fort Madison Place.
Yep.
Where it was just financially, this property would be slightly easier compared to Fort Madison Place because it is a corner parcel. You have more access to the rear of the property to
That had
redevelop it.
very complicated access issues. That's right.
Oh,
And that
but-
little low opening. Yep.
Yeah, so with saving facades and then requiring people to develop behind it, I know that at least for people that we've discussed with, it's been slightly harder. We may actually have one come forward soon where they actually are going to develop behind the facade. But especially with row houses where we don't have common alleys, or we don't have alleys that are behind buildings, it can be difficult and financially very expensive. But
Well, I guess
Again,
the
that
point
may be
is
a
here you've
unique
got,
case. You've
I'm
got the
sorry.
side-
Go on.
I'm sorry. You've got the side yard, so you have some capability there, and it's publicly owned, the side yard.
right, this would be like, if you were to do it, this would be a very good property to do it at because of the access that you have to
Mhm.
the rear of the building.
it
Well,
almost
maybe
feels
that's a
like,
discussion with Rick LaJoy.
yeah, if it was a good idea, if we really thought the buildings were going to go and there was no other way to stabilize them and it wasn't affordable, then if we collectively thought it was a reasonable approach, we'd have to start to be pretty creative as to where you're going to get a couple $100,000 or whatever it's going to be to do that, right? How does it hook onto another project? Is it an EPF grant application, a CFA grant application? Is there something else? Is it? It might be the kind of initiative, if we thought this was important enough, that
Mhm.
kind of gets spearheaded by us.
Throw in a vacant lot next to it, you might find yourself with a lot of power for creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that they had put out there too was demolishing it and then rebuilding it,
Mhm.
which,
Nice if you could keep the original fabric. That's
No,
Yes,
but they
but-
won't. I mean, unless you're really serious about doing that, it's not gonna be good. Well, I don't even know who they are, but I'm just being cranky about it.
So, but in the
Say
meantime, if you,
Windowsills and lintels, and that's about, and paste brick on a stud backup.
Thank you.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's not the same.
No.
No.
but in the meantime, if you do know anybody that's looking for a challenge, and has a very
Deep
wealthy
pocket.
relative who's left them a lot of money, you know, you can direct them my way and I will get them connected with the property owner. So, but
You may have said, who owns it now?
it's the Albany Housing Coalition. I think is it
Oh,
Albany
right.
Housing Coalition, and they do veteran housing. So,
Okay.
I have one, are we done with that?
Yep.
Okay, how's our emergency demos going and where are we with reporting? And is it time to start to reach out to Rick to get his stuff? And
yeah, I will reach out to. I
did
will
we
reach
lose
out
any
to.
more buildings this month?
Not in historic districts.
I saw one for Bradford Street. A photograph would have been nice. It's like 40-something Bradford Street, and potentially, if it's not there now, it could be there. And it would have been nice to see a photograph and find out what we're talking about.
Well, that one is not in a district.
It may be someday.
Yeah, why can't we get photographs of all of them?
We should.
I mean, they're in the engineering reports, but yeah.
I've been requesting these from day one.
That
Nobody
wasn't-
likes to share photographs.
Well, actually, Jack, you have been, and when you're not here, I kind of that sticks in my head. But the other part of that is, I don't know if Aaron's got a repository or we have some good system of collecting all, we should have a separate conversation about where those images go and will they be printed out and accessible? So that's
Yeah.
a separate conversation.
Yeah, I am for every property that comes before you all. And for every, if there's an emergency demolition, I have a digital property file. And Rich Nicholson has had paper files. So I've been transferring everything over, but pretty much anything that's in a historic district has a property folder.
Great.
So whether that's something for like a minor C of A, a major C of A, or even a demolition, there's at least a record for every property.
I'm also concerned about the ones that are on the edge that in the near future may very likely be in historic districts. And if we have things like Bradford Street, there's a good chance that someday that there's a number of things going on in that area that we would take a picture, right away. But try half of Pine Hills.
So
I
the
mean-
other part of the question, oh, I'm sorry, you were answering.
Oh, and I was gonna say to Jack, I do save all the notifications. So whether they're in a district or not, so.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah. You could do a publication on Lost Albany.
Yeah.
Very sad. So,
Okay.
recently Lost Albany. We have the other Lost Albany.
Hmm.
So what happens, when are we due? In August, right?
August,
That's our report in.
I think I put
Was it
I
August
put
2nd?
down that we would be submitting
Or draft, yeah.
our one-time
Yeah.
end-of-year report. Friday, August 6th. And I did it so that we can discuss it at the August 4th
Right.
meeting.
And when was Rick's, you should have Rick's reports from last year, right?
I think I should have gotten something on April 15th. I have to go back and check the date. I know it's the 15th of every month. So I think it was April 15th should have been the first one that we received. So I just put a note down for myself to follow up with them about it.
Well, I'm happy to work with you on it if it's useful, but we
Okay.
should, oddly enough, we should probably start
No, I
Yeah,
think
putting
we
it together.
need to
thinking about it
start
now. Yeah.
collecting the information now.
Because we have no format even to work.
Well,
to
we need to,
create that.
yeah, we need to develop the format so that it's easier to replicate this in future volumes.
Right.
I'll do what we did the last time. I'll set up, I'll follow up with Rick and see if he has the April one, and I'll check the date for the next one. And I'll set something up so that we can put something,
Great.
start putting something together.
Okay,
Great.
because we've got mapping and other things to include with that, so.
Yeah,
you know,
and
getting some of that base information pulled together sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Will help.
and we don't have a GIS person in our department anymore, so I would need to work with our consultant on that.
Okay,
I can't remember the language, and we don't need to go and look at it right now, but back to what Jack's talking about. I can't remember the boundaries that we're looking at in terms of the our reports, but because it's an opportunity to document, we might see how far we can extend it to the fringes or whatever else is coming
Mhm.
down.
Yeah.
We'll see
I-
that when we start. working
Yeah,
on
I
it.
know that we are just excuse me, the law is just for the city historic districts, is what HRC is,
Right. I understand. Yep.
yeah, tasked with.
But it still might give us an opportunity,
Yeah.
Our town's an historic town.
right? That's
well, as Jack says, we've got all those future historic districts, so we've got to get our nose under the tent here.
And if anybody is interested, May 15th, Saturday, May 15th is Historic Albany Foundation's first rehab fair of the summer. So it's from 12 to 2 at the Steam Garden at 279 Central Avenue. So, and the first one I think is about vacancy and preventative like measures that you can take foreclosure and things like that for your property. So and then that's May 15th, and then the second one, there's going to be 4, and then the second one is Saturday, June 12th.
And for Jack, there's either this Saturday or next Saturday, a guided bike tour of all the murals.
Ah, well. Next
You want
Saturday,
that to get by you without, yeah.
yeah. Without a doubt. There's also a discussion this week on a lot of murals going on in the summer, including
Yeah.
some that he added, so that'll be exciting.
All right.
I think murals should be compatible with the building that they're put on and should not clash.
Well, that's okay, but can you define it? Not now.
No, not now.
Now,
They're definitely more than just a blank canvas. They're thought-provoking in so many different ways. But then we get into art, aesthetics, and that.
Yeah.
It's community art, and that's a little bit different. Got to consider everyone.
Yeah. On that note, I would consider a
No future.
motion to adjourn,
A motion to have dinner.
motion to eat.
All right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
night.
all right.
See you.
Thank you all.
Our
Bye,
meeting is
all.
adjourned. Thank you.